Steve Jobs' story is unlike most. He was adopted. His biological parents, Joanne Schiebel, a university instructor in biology, and Abdul Fattah Jandali, a Syrian political science professor, couldn't publicly reveal their relationship. They gave him up for adoption. The family that raised him, Paul Jobs, an electrician and mechanic, and Clara Jobs, a bookkeeper, shaped his early world. But that sense of not fully belonging would define him forever. He felt neither truly wanted nor rejected, caught between two worlds. This tension became the engine of his life. He would spend decades creating, inventing, and chasing perfection, always searching for a place, a purpose, a thing that felt exactly right. As a boy in suburban Los Altos, California, he was curious, bright, and restless. He took electronics classes, spent hours in his father's garage, tinkering with radios and transistors. This feeling of incompleteness would never leave him. It drove him to imagine things that didn't exist yet. The 60s and 70s were a time of cultural revolution. Steve rode that wave fully. He was drawn to Eastern philosophy, to music, to calligraphy, to Zen Buddhism. He went to Reed College in Portland, Oregon, then dropped out, wandering the campus as a student who sat in on classes without enrolling. He read everything. He studied Eastern spirituality. He became obsessed with understanding what made things beautiful. He audited calligraphy classes because he loved the artistry of letter forms, the way letters were spaced, the serifs, the flow. These aesthetic principles would later appear in the typography of every Apple product. At the Homebrew Computer Club, a gathering of technology enthusiasts in Palo Alto, he met Steve Wozniak, a brilliant engineer who could make circuits sing. Wozniak was a true genius with electronics, self-taught, and fearless. He understood circuits intuitively. Jobs had vision for technology's human potential. Wozniak had the engineering prowess to make circuits do impossible things. Together, they decided to build a computer in their garage. Apple was born in 1976. The Apple, I was crude, but they saw something others didn't. They believed that computers could be for everyone, not just scientists in laboratories. This belief was radical. Then came the Apple Gerdau and everything shifted. Wozniak had built something remarkable, a computer that was fast and powerful. But Jobs reimagined it completely. He insisted on a plastic case, clean lines, careful typography, elegant power supplies. When you held an Apple II, you felt quality. Jobs made people understand that design wasn't decoration. It was the soul of the product. He was obsessed with the smallest details, the feel of the keyboard, the curve of the case, the sound the disk drive made. During these years, Steve had a deep relationship with Chris Ann Brennan, a Zen practitioner. They had a daughter named Lisa, but Jobs initially refused to acknowledge paternity. This caused her pain and left him with lasting guilt. Later, he would name one of his computer projects Lisa, as a kind of quiet acknowledgement. In 1980, Xerox let Apple engineers visit their research facility at PARC. They saw something revolutionary, a graphical user interface, icons, windows, a mouse. Jobs immediately grasped its world-changing potential. He understood what Xerox didn't, that this was the future of computing. No more cryptic commands, no more memorized codes, just point and click. He poured that vision into the Macintosh. He gathered together the most talented designers, engineers, and artists Apple could find. The Mac team became a creative powerhouse. They debated every pixel, every color, every interaction. In 1984, the Mac launched. It was beautiful, revolutionary, and utterly unprecedented. Users could control the computer by pointing and clicking. No technical knowledge required, but it was also expensive and slower than the IBM PC. The IBM PC, running DOS and Microsoft, was spreading through offices rapidly. IBM was a trusted name. IBM was safe. Meanwhile, Jobs was increasingly autocratic, more demanding, more difficult. He pushed people to their limits. Some thrived under this pressure. Others burned out. Internal friction grew. He could be cruel and dismissive, especially to those he felt weren't meeting his standards. Yet this relentless pursuit of perfection was also what made Apple different. He demanded excellence in every detail. The result was products that felt different, that looked different, that worked differently. By 1985, the Apple board made a decision. They pushed Jobs out. He was 30 years old, the founder of Apple Computer, and suddenly he was gone. That betrayal was shattering, deeply, permanently shattering. The company he'd imagined into existence had rejected him, but something remarkable happened next. Instead of retreating, Jobs created again. He founded Next Computer, pouring his perfectionism into machines that were beautiful but expensive and ultimately couldn't compete with cheaper IBM-compatible options. Next never became the mass market success he envisioned. Yet its technology was revolutionary. Its operating system became the foundation of what would eventually run the internet itself. At the same time, Jobs spotted something others couldn't see. He bought a struggling division of Lucasfilm, the Computer Animation Group. It was nearly worthless, staffed with brilliant people, but facing extinction. Most people saw no future in computer animation. The industry was dominated by hand-drawn animation, but Jobs saw Pixar's potential. He funded it relentlessly, investing over $50 million of his own money. Years passed with no profit, only losses. But Jobs believed. When Toy Story was released in 1995, it changed everything. Animation would never be handmade again. The film earned $370 million worldwide. Pixar became a goldmine, and Jobs had another massive success. Pixar became culturally significant. It won Academy Awards. It changed how the world saw animation. Meanwhile, Apple was in existential crisis. The company Jobs had built was failing. In 1997, Bill Gates made a shocking announcement. Microsoft would invest $400 million in Apple. It was salvation. Jobs returned as interim CEO. The first thing he did was design the iMac. It was curved, translucent, colorful. Nothing like anything in the computer industry. Suddenly, computers looked beautiful again. The translucent plastic let you see inside. It felt like jewelry, not machinery. With designer Jony Ive, Jobs rebuilt Apple's entire soul. The MacBook came next, then the iPod. The iPod was astonishing. A tiny device that could hold 1,000 songs. The click wheel felt like magic under your fingers. Then in 2007, Steve unveiled something world-changing, the iPhone. When he showed the world the first iPhone, he didn't say it was a phone. He said it was the internet in your pocket, a touchscreen, no keyboard, simple, intuitive, perfect. The iPhone created the smartphone industry overnight. iPad followed, then Apple Watch. Each device embodied Jobs' philosophy. Simplicity through complexity. Design that served the human experience. just as Apple reached the pinnacle of success, Steve received a diagnosis: pancreatic cancer. He was only in his 50s. Jobs was secretive about his health. He tried alternative medicine, juice diets, spiritual practices. He delayed surgery because he feared it would scar him. For 9 months, he thought he'd cured himself. He hadn't. When he finally sought real treatment, it was too late. The cancer had spread. Yet even as he weakened, he kept working. He designed the iPad, a device that felt impossibly perfect, more like art than technology. He left written instructions for new products, the direction Apple should take for years to come. On October 5th, 2011, Steve Jobs died. He was 56 years old. The world lost one of its great imaginers. But Steve Jobs' legacy isn't just the products he made, it's the philosophy he embedded into how we think about technology. Before Jobs, computers were gray, anonymous, utilitarian tools. Jobs made them beautiful. He proved that technology could be an art form. Today, every tech company thinks about design because Jobs made design sacred. His greatest achievement wasn't any single product. It was changing what we expect from technology itself. We now demand beauty alongside function. We want simplicity in a world of complexity. We want design to serve the human, not the machine. This came from one man who felt he didn't belong.